Hey everyone, this particular article is out of Financial Post, and it's just more evidence that's speaking volumes without saying a whole lot. But what this is in reference to, in case you're not paying attention, or if you're not financially or economically astute, is for the last 7-8 years since the great, recession, right? Central banks and central planners for an entire business cycle, actually slightly in excess of a typical business cycle, they tried the full-on central planning model, right, with stimulus and the Fed printing money and buying up bonds, and you know how that whole played out, right? And now that the U.S. Federal Reserve has in excess of $4.5 trillion of debt on their books, purchased currency that they bought, right? It's the part that's so insane. I mean, actually, that would be look through the history and understand macroeconomics and fiat currencies, and you have to go into that whole and it's pretty in depth. It'll take you a while to come to realize all that, but once you get to that point, come back and then watch this video and be like, oh, okay, I understand now. Anyways, so it's all this, like I say, false stimulus. It's the Keynesian model. But now they have enough evidence, and then they also have the evidence that goes back all the way to the dot-com burst, right? And the big financial crash in 2001. And all the subsequent malinvestments and distortions of the economy that took place subsequent that intervention in the economy. So they've had, since 2001, two, empirical. I mean, the evidence is there. The evidence is in. They did two studies, right? Well, which they weren't really studies, they were experiments, I should say, where they put their hands on the wheel and took complete control of the economy. And now, like I say, the evidence is in. And what they're saying is, damn, all we did was make things worse. And you know that if you look at on the landscape, whether you're talking about politics or economics, there's been a huge divide. Even though there was a massive divide already, where there was a hollowing out of the middle class, economic and monetary policy that has been presented and put forth by the central planning, what the governments or the central banks or the banksters, right, or these crony corporations, these fuckers that all get together and go to these private meetings and try to figure out and dictate how they're going to control and micromanage every aspect of your economic and social lives. Those people, well, like I say, the evidence in, and now they're realizing that, even though we don't want to, we still want to save face, and we're not going to admit that we were a complete failure. Basically, we're going to do the exact opposite now, right? Is what they're saying. Now we're talking about raising interest rates, and now the Fed's going to unwind their $4.5 trillion balance sheet. Now you're seeing it's like, we tried the stimulus model. We tried keeping the drug injected in the patient's arm, but now we're seeing that the patient's not getting any better. Matter of fact, they're seeming to like this drug so much that they don't even want to get better. So now we better try something else. I guess now we better just pull the fucking needle out of the arm completely and not even give them, well, hopefully maybe they won't even give them any pain medication, and see if we just let them suffer some pain, some real pain, maybe that'll shock them into doing things properly, right? Well, chances are that probably will have that kind of effect. It's going to be positive for people that weren't foolish enough to delve in and jump into the debt-driven model, the false stimulus model. But those that did, those that took full advantage of the debt-driven model, well, those are the people that are now going to have to take their dose of medication. Enter Canada and the bulk of the people that participate in this false economy, Canada. That means you, right? You speculators, you homeowners, well, especially from the baby boomer demographic that have been living this quasi world where your home has all of a sudden become a lottery ticket, right? And you're benefiting tremendously at the expense of people that can't even get their foot in the door to start a family, like successive generations, even though you're benefiting that, and you have been for, over a decade, maybe decade and a half now. Well, like I say, central planners, I guess, are feeling the heat or the chills, whichever way you want to look at it. And now they're reversing course. So the onus is on you now, especially, you Canadians that thought, oh, we're doing so much better than everyone else. Oh, we look down upon the Americans, the Europeans, and all these other people that just haven't been able to go along and enjoy so much economic prosperity and wealth like we Canadians do. Really? Really? Like I say, well, when the Band-Aid gets pulled off, let's see how strong and bold you are then, right? Let's see if the smiles are still present subsequent to that fact, subsequent to that revelation, subsequent to when that happens. Will it? I highly doubt. Anyways, like I say, this is out of the Financial Times. Headline: Fed makes case for starting to unwind balance sheet within months, from the Fed minutes. This by Sam Fleming, by the way. U.S. Federal Reserve policymakers are ready to press ahead with the unwinding of quantitative easing within months as they go forward with the landmark step in spite of a spate of weak inflation readings. Minutes after their June rate-setting meeting on Wednesday showed a number of officials warning that allowing unemployment to fall too low could lead to the U.S. economy overheating or the emergence of financial stability risk, as they also advocated a series of further rate increases. The record of the meeting on June 13 to 14 reveals the Fed in a hawkish mood, and it comes as central bankers across a number of rich nations hint at withdrawing some of the crisis-era monetary stimulus. Right? Like I say. The prospects of tighter policy has provoked an anxious mood in financial markets that have been habituated to years of cheap money, right? They're like, oh, no, don't pull the trigger. Don't take the needle yet. Don't. Sorry. It's the only way we're going to help you, right? It's a little bit of taking some tough medicine. Consider it your, what's that medicine that everyone hates so much? Consider it your Buckley moment, right? You have to take that. Oh, it's going to taste terrible, but it'll help you in the long run. Last week, Mario Draghi, the European Central Bank president, gave a speech that appeared to declare victory over deflation, while Mark Carney of the Bank of England was interpreted as favoring a rate rise. Some traders have spoken of a mini taper tantrum in the markets, alluding to a sell-off in 2013 inadvertently prompted by Ben Bernanke, the Fed's then chairman. The Fed's meeting predated the recent market fluctuations, but the U.S. Central Bank has been at the forefront of the move to reducing the monetary accommodation put in place at the height of the financial crisis. The minutes said that several of the Fed's officials wanted to announce the start of the process of reducing asset holdings within a couple of months, and it was noted at the meeting that central banks' communications efforts had already prepared the market for the step. So, forward guidance, right? So it's not even like, in reality, they're not even just pulling the Band-Aid off and making the people have to suffer. They're even telling you, okay, you ready for it? You ready for it? Okay, bite your teeth, bite a towel, grin and bear it, look the other way, but I'm getting ready to pull the Band-Aid off. Okay, you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? I'll blow on it while I'm doing it. I mean, they're trying to give you all the ample opportunity, and they're trying to give you ample opportunity to prepare you to, okay, yeah, we're going to have to start doing things proper now. So prepare accordingly. But as you know, like these people that have put themselves in this situation, are they going to be, even if they want to listen, they probably put themselves in such a precarious situation at this stage of the game. It's like, well, what do you want me to do now? Right? Too bad. Should have been thinking long term, right? Others wanted to wait longer as they assess the outlook for economic activity and inflation, suggesting they may prefer an increase later this year. Janet Yellen, the Fed chair, said at her June press conference that a move could come relatively soon. So I'll post a link to this article in the description of the video below. But yeah, I just wanted you to see so we could touch down on what the mindset of the central bankers are, what mode they're in now. And it seems like, yeah, like I say, it seems that things are changing. It seems that now, instead of the constant stimulus, the constant extend and then pretend model, it seems that era is now over, and now they're going to try the opposite method, the opposite approach. Instead of the carrot, now they're going to use the stick. Yeah, Like I say, it won't hurt us all. Matter of fact, there's a lot of people that, yeah, that stick's not going to come anywhere near you, right? If you're the ones that were doing the right thing up until now, you're safe. You're golden at this stage of the game. Actually, things are only going to look up and brighter in the future for you. Those of you that, like I say, jumped on that stimulus model, right? Put that needle in the arm and said, keep it in there for all these years. Like I said, they're not very good at this point at adapting to change, right? They're probably unwilling to even allow anyone to even put their hands near that bandage in any attempt to try to rip it off. They're the ones that are realizing that, yeah, but if you rip it off, hey, I've been binge drinking all this time, so if you rip that Band-Aid off, my blood's so thinned out now that I'll probably bleed out within minutes. Well, hey, personal responsibility, personal accountability. Well, yeah, you probably should have thought that before now. It's Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.